Hello and welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our Christmas special. And no, we're not on a Skype call, and no, we're not in the studio. Instead, Jack, we're in the kitchen, and we're going to try and preview all the fantastic action we've got over the Christmas period whilst cooking a sticky toffee pudding. We set ourselves the challenge, and we said we had a Christmas cracker for you, Jack. I bet you're looking forward to the race, and I bet you're looking forward to trying to cook this thing.
Not so much looking forward to the cooking bit. I try my hand in the kitchen, but desserts, not really my thing. The racing, on the other hand, that is a cracker. Can't wait.
It is, and we're going to try and do both for you guys and see what we can get done. We've got plenty of action from both sides of the sea, so we'll see what we can do. And we'll kick things off with Kempton on Boxing Day, where the main race there is going to be the King George. And we'll start off with the 155 there, and this is the Quarto Star Novice Chase, and this is grade 1 over 3 miles. Now, there's only 4 runners now. Brave Man's Game is your 10 to 11 favourite. Ahoy Senor is 5 to 4. T Clipper 20 to 1, and Kilteely Briggs 50 to 1. Before we start cooking, we'll talk about this race here. It's fascinating now. We've got 4 runners. It seems like it's going to become a 2-horse race. You look at Ahoy Senor, who has Brave Man's Game, on hurdling form. What do you make of this? Do you think the bookies have got the odds wrong here?
I think they do. I think there's obviously, if Ahoy Senor was trained by Nicky Henderson, Paul Nicholls, I think he'd probably be 2s on. But for me, the question is, I'm still not sure Brave Man's Game quite wants 3 miles just yet. I think he's going to get it, don't get me wrong. But I don't know if he's going to stay as well as Ahoy Senor. I mean, the big question for me is who's going to go off out front. Of course, Ahoy Senor will definitely want to, and Brave Man's Game showed that he also can do it. I think Brave Man's Game has the edge on jumping. I mean, Ahoy Senor pecked on landing last time out and also was a little bit awkward at one of the water jumps. But I think he's just got so much ability. If you look at it from a time point of view as well, he quickened away in good style. I mean, he is probably perhaps more speedy, but could also stay better. So I am going to be with Ahoy Senor. I think perhaps on the day, I think the favourite could be the other way around. And Lucinda Russell, I mean, she's just been screaming from the treetops about him, hasn't she? She said his piece of work was scintillating. I know there are any whispers, but there's whispers that he's going to go to the Gold Cup instead as a novice. So, I mean, it's very interesting. I think it's a cracking race, and hopefully Ahoy Senor will be able to do it for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm actually agree with you that they could flip-flop. I could see both being 10 to 11 on the day. Really could. It'd be like a red or black situation. But I like Ahoy Senor. I think the jumping was incredible the last time out. This horse stays for days as well. I'd love to see this horse have a go at the Gold Cup as a novice. That'd be unbelievable. And I think the horse has all the ability. Brave Man's Game comes with a real high reputation. We know that. Going down the Denman route, and we'd love to see a horse like this go and do this because Paul Nicholls knows how to train a staying chaser. But it looks like Lucinda Russell and the team, they've got a really nice horse in their hands here. I think Ahoy Senor is probably going to go and do the business. I think the bookmakers have got it wrong as well. So it's a fascinating little race. And before we get on to the Christmas hurdle, let's start cooking. You need to whack that flour there.
Yep.
In with a pinch of this bicarbonate of soda. Okay. Just a pinch, yeah?
Just a pinch, right? Just a pinch.
Yeah, just a pinch.
What are you getting up to?
Yeah, no, I've got to whack this sugar in here with an egg.
Okay, just a pinch.
Yeah, actually wrong sugar. That sugar in there with an egg. Right, we'll get on to the Christmas hurdle now. Which I think is a bit of a disappointing race, if I'm being honest, Jack.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, Epatante at the moment is your 10 to 11 favourite. Not So Sleepy 11 to 4. Tritonic is 11 to 2, and then we've got Soaring Glory 7, and Glory and Fortune is 66 to 1 in here. And like I say, I think I've said it before on this channel, is that it's quite a disappointing 2-mile division in Britain at the moment. It really is. I think there's not really a standout star. I mean, we're all looking at Honeysuckle thinking there's nothing going to beat her at the moment. And I just think that potentially a race like this, I know Epatante, was in dead heat with Not So Sleepy last night. I think Epatante's going to improve for this. It's interesting to hear that he might go down the 2-mile 4 route soon. So Nicky Henderson's obviously going to step her up in trip very soon. And it'd be interesting to see what the plans are after this. But it's one of those where I think Epatante could just go and win this. I really do. I'm not a massive fan. I won't be backing this horse. But I do think that she's probably going to go and win this. What about yourself?
It's a bit of a messy race. You kind of want it to have a lot more depth than it actually has, wouldn't you? Epatante at 8 to 11. You see what she is. She's as short as she is, but she's running 10, 11 pounds lower than her best, and she probably is still better than all of these. But I'll probably, to be fair, going to have a little each way squeak on Glory and Fortune. Yeah, the rank outside of the film at 66 to 1. Now, he's been having a great season. Of course, he won the Welsh Champion Hurdle and then finished 6th in the Greatwood over 2 miles. Kind of went around the outside, didn't jump very well, but stayed on that day. They then stepped him up to 2 mile 4. He didn't run very well at all. I just think the return to the minimum trip, he's carrying quite a lot of weight in the Greatwood as well. I think he was 4th towards top weight as well. So, I think considering he travelled 4 wide in that Great Wood, I think the return to the minimum trip, hopefully he can continue to improve. 66-1, I think it kind of gives me a little bit of an each way outsider in a pretty disappointing race.
Yeah, and I don't think it's actually probably a bad thing to do. Like I say, with a division like this, anything can happen. It really could, and you wouldn't be shocked to see any of these guys in. But a massive outsider for Jack there at 66-1 on Glory and Fortune. Now, we need to somehow get this butter. I'll leave this to you while I call out the odds.
Okay.
Whack that butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to go into those eggs and sugar there.
Okay.
Right, I'm just following this recipe here. I'm hoping we've got this right because this could look really bad. The odds for the King George man, this is the 305 at Kempton, the big one on Boxing Day. It's a Grade 1 chase over 3 miles. Clanders Oboe is your 11-4 favourite. Manila Indo is also sitting around 11-4. Chantry House, a lot of money for this horse, 9-2. Frodon, last year's winner, is 11-2. Steering for Longe is 6-1. Lost in Translations 11s, and you're looking at looking around 16-1 bar these. Really good field. I'm actually really excited by this field. I really am. We've got Clanders Oboe 2 times winner. You've got Frodon, last year's winner. Steering for Longe, who has all the ability in the world, but just seems to put in that odd wrong jump, and it all goes wrong for him. And then we look at Manila Indo, last year's Gold Cup winner. It really is a cracking renewal of this race. Now, I really fancy a horse here. I actually do really fancy a horse in the King George, and I've never ever backed this horse, which is mad, right? And the horse is Frodon. I really do fancy this horse to go and do this. And look, Frodon, everyone loves this horse. I've never actually backed this horse at all. I'll be totally honest with you. I have actually won off this horse. I backed Bryony Frost, to ride a winner at the first Cheltenham. I think 2019, the year she won the Ryanair. I backed her to ride a winner during that festival. I didn't actually back the horse, but now I'm going to back Frodon. I'm going to back him, so I'm so sorry, Paul Nicholls, because I've probably put a curse on this horse. But I love the way this horse gets out in front. I really do. Gets out in front, bowls along, gets off the bridle one by one. He's a right old grinder, Frodon. Yeah. He can grind them into submission. I think it is a very classy field. I mean, if Steering for Longe doesn't touch a fence and he gets round, he's probably going to win this. I think he has all the ability in the world and could be one of the better chasers if he could jump properly, but he just doesn't. But yeah, it's going to be Frodon for me in here. And Nicholls has said that if you think Clanders Oboe and Frodon the ones to beat, and he's probably right with both of them winning a King George in the past.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be interesting to see because Clanders Oboe will probably want to get on with it as well. Last year, obviously, he was in the rear of the field, still finished at a gallant third, but I think he'll want to kind of get on with things as well. So, of course, Frodon's going to bowl along out front, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Harry just in behind on Clanders Oboe. I mean, I love what the cheek pieces have done for Clanders Oboe. I mean, it really has done him the world of good. But after such a break, am I going to be backing him at 11-4? I just think he's way too short in this field.
Yeah, he is.
Manila Indo, again, the Gold Cup's going to be his big race. Everyone knows that. Around Cheltenham, he improves £5-10. Again, everyone knows that. So I think Manila Indo perhaps a touch short. Frodon is one who I just can't seem to love. He's such a warrior. He's such a battler. But there's something I can't get to love about him. I don't know what it is. But I just don't think when it comes to the big stage, I tell myself time and time again, he doesn't have the class. But, I mean, I keep getting proved wrong time and time again. And hopefully time won't tell this time. For that, Chantry House is an interesting one. Quite hard what to make of that 2-runner race win. Of course, it was very impressive. But you don't really know what to make of that. And then there's kind of a little bit of a muchness kind of in behind. But I just think with the amount of class at the top of the market, I think you have to kind of go for an outsider in the field. And I'm actually a fan of Tornado Flyer. I still think he's improving. And how Willie Mullins would it be to come over and win the big one with his second string?
Yeah,
it would be such a Willie Mullins thing to do. I mean, Tornado Flyer's only been seen once over 3 miles. That was in the Savills last year. It was a bit of a no-show. Didn't run very well that day. But in the John Durkin, he finished he had the fastest section from the second last to the line. He didn't jump very well. Hopefully his jumping will be able to hold up. But I think they have to give him a crack back at 3 miles. Danny Mullins is back on board, which I'm excited to see. I think him and Danny Mullins get along quite well.
Yeah.
He usually gets a good tune out of him. So, I mean, stepping up to 3 miles, he is kind of a little bit forgotten about because of the top of the market. I wouldn't be surprised to see Willie Mullins land it, but not for Steering for Longe, who's just an absolute nutcase, as you say. He is going to clatter into one. It's just a given. He is going to do it.
Do we think that he could? Do you think that he's at some stage he is going to win one of these big races and that he's going to get round and not make a mistake and suddenly we're going to see him, win something huge?
Yeah, 100%. He's going to win a big one, isn't he? It's just when. When. And I kind of don't really want to back him 7 times at 6-1 for him to win that one big one.
Yeah.
I kind of, if he goes and wins it, then I'll be very happy for him to win it. But I think Tornado Flyer at 25-1 is probably going to be where my money is.
There we go. Okay, 25-1 Tornado Flyer for Jack, and for myself 11-2 about Frodon to win.
What is going on there?
Well, no, that's fine. That. Now, from what I know, that's got to go into there. You've got to stir that, and then we've got to whack this in there just gradually. So you just carry on with that. Let's go over now to Leopardstown. Now it's St Stephen's Day over there. It's actually a shame now that Leopardstown's going to have no crowd. A real sad sight that, because it's a fantastic festival. I'm sure Jack and I will do our best to get over there at some stage. But we start things off. The race we're going to preview is the 220 there. It's the Racing Post Novice Chase. This is a Grade 1 over 2 miles, 1 furlong. Fernie Hollow is your 10 to 11 favourite. Riviere de Tell is 13 to 8. Curse Sublime is 11 to 1. Grand Borland 25 to 1. And the other two are much bigger in here. It's a real fascinating race, this, Jack, because I think that Fernie Hollow, as the long-term prospect, is probably the one, the best horse that's going to come out of this race for sure.
How are we looking? I'll
just keep stirring that.
Okay.
Probably going to look like the best horse in here, but I do think this £13 that Riviere de Tell is going to get is really fascinating, and look, she has all the class, she really does. But at this stage of their careers, Fernie Hollow's only had the one run. Do you think Fernie Hollow could be vulnerable to a horse who's given away getting this weight off Fernie Hollow?
100%. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think Fernie Hollow is definitely the more exciting prospect, but you've got to be some horse to turn over that £13. You can have a go.
Oh yeah, give it.
The £13 weight, which he has to. So for me, Riviere de Tell, she's been very impressive. She's done everything asked of her in good style. I really like the way she jumps as well. I think she just looks a bit more assured over the fences than perhaps Fernie Hollow does. And I think the favourites are the wrong way round again. Probably based on connections as usual, but and obviously what Fernie Hollow's done in the past. But I just think Riviere de Tell is actually looks like a cracking bet here.
Okay, yeah.
I do think, because Fernie Hollow's got a lot to do. I mean, if he goes and does it, then goodness me, the Arkle market, he'll be smashed in there.
Especially when appreciated it this week, being said that this horse going to go over hurdles now. I could see this horse going even money if winning here.
Oh yeah, I could almost see him getting touched odds on if he goes and wins this by double figure lengths or 5 lengths or so, because giving away £13 to Riviere de Tell on your second run over fences, as we say, is not an easy feat. So were he to do that, then fair play, but for me, I think it's all about Riviere de Tell.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm with you here. I do think that Fernie Hollow is definitely the one to follow out this race, but Riviere de Tell could easily go and do Fernie Hollow here, or I think could become quite popular. And again, I could see the odds shortening on this and potentially, them flip-flopping at some stage in the market. We'll have to wait and see. A really interesting one. We'll move over now to Limerick for the one race we're going to be covering there. This is the Faheen Novice Chase. It's the 240. It's a Grade 1, just shy of 2.5 miles. Gavinacco is 2 to 1. Farouk Delen is 3. Vanillier is 7 to 2. Lifetime Ambition 7 to 1. Lieutenant Command is 15 to 2. And double figures bar these. This race here, 2.5 miles. I actually think that a few of these are going to want 3. So I find it fascinating a few of these dropping back. And the one horse I do think is going to want 3, but the horse I actually fancy is Farouk Delen. Gordon Elliott is very bullish about this horse's chance over the Christmas period, and I just think this horse jumps very well. I was actually a big fan of this horse as a novice hurdler. Didn't actually go to Cheltenham. I fancied the horse for the Albert Bartlett. Didn't go there. But now I think as a chaser looks quite smart and will come on for that recent run. 2.5 miles, I think, look, give this horse another go over this distance, but I think 3 miles is going to make this horse look even better in the future. But look, Farouk Delen is going to be one of the better bets for myself over the Christmas period. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, I'm with Farouk Delen as well. I mean, it's not exactly a race that I'm probably looking forward to all that much, but I agree. I mean, as a novice hurdler, I was a big fan of him. Yeah. I think he'll probably want a little bit more rain, that's the only thing, but he looked relatively assured over fences first time out in Avon, and hopefully he'll be able to back that up here.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go, well, I'll tell you what, let's carry on with this quick. This here. Yeah. It looks great. That needs to, it looks fine.
This is what we've got for the moment.
Well, don't worry, we'll show you what it looks like as a finished product. Don't worry about that. But that needs to go in here. I'll tell you what, use one of these spoons.
Oh, no.
Spoon? What do you think you put that in there? I'll tell you what, pop it in a jug and then we'll pour it in.
There we go.
Pop it all in there, it makes it easier. Pop all that in there. Yeah, that looks lovely.
Listen to that sound.
Yeah, lovely. Right, and then just fill all 4 of those and then we'll whack them in the oven before making the toffee sauce, which I'm quite excited about.
Oh yeah, that's your speciality, isn't it?
Well, I'll say that. Okay, let's go over to Welsh National Day on the 27th now. Again, sad to see there's no crowds going to be at Chepstow, another race meet that Jack and I have both discussed and said that we would like to go to at some stage. We will preview that, and we will also preview the Desert Orchid on the 27th from Kempton. Let's go with the 140 then, the finale juvenile hurdlers. The Grade 1 over 2 miles. Forever Blessed is 5-2, Porticello is 3-1, Skycutter 5s, Magistrato 6-1, Saint Segal is 10-1, Frela William and Cockcask are 12-1, 14-1 bar those. Jack, last year, the winner of this went on to, finish placed in the Triumph Hurdle. Do you think we could see one come out of this who could be of similar ability?
No, I don't think it's got a race with that. Also, just quickly, let's have...
Yeah, whack that in there.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Right.
Yeah, now what have we got?
I'll just quickly whack these in the oven. 180, 20 minutes, and we'll show you what they look like in a second.
Bob's your uncle, I suppose. No, I don't think it's a race with great depth. I mean, looking at Porticello, he clearly has a great engine, but I mean, he's such a typical Gary Moore juvenile.
Oh, he is.
I mean, I was watching the summit at Cheltenham on one of the big screens, and I mean, he's just such a classic Gary Moore juvenile nutcase. There's something about Gary Moore's and what he does with his juveniles, or what he sees in them, or whatever it may be. But he loves to get them over from France, and they always end up being nutcases. No, but I'm probably going to give Magistrato another chance. I mean, he came there looking like the winner at Cheltenham last time out, of course, when he finished 4th, and he just didn't get up the hill. He looked very novice and just very inexperienced. But I mean, he jumped and he looked very assured. He went odds on in play, and hopefully, obviously, he won at Chepstow on his only hurdling victory, and hopefully the return to Chepstow will be able to kind of bounce him back to some form. So I think 5-1 is actually not a bad price if he does definitely go.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting with Porticello because listening to Gary Moore earlier in the week at Lingfield, he did say Porticello probably won't go here and probably go to Cheltenham Trials Day rather than here. So it'll be interesting to see if that horse stays in here. But the horse I actually like is the same as Jack, Magistrato. I think it has a fantastic chance, and the form of this horse could actually be boosted on Boxing Day with Yorkshire at Fontwell running, who finished 3rd in that race at Cheltenham. Going off should win really at 3-1 on Boxing Day, Yorkshire. I just think this horse has got plenty to improve. Very keen recently, this horse, but I'm hoping that the horse has learnt a few bits and will come on for these runs. And look, we've got to remember this horse finished behind Porticello in Auteuil. Back in France, and they're both obviously smart horses, both showing signs of inexperience, and if they do put it together, they could become very, very decent juvenile hurdlers. But yeah, I'm with you here, Magistrato. I think 6-1's a very fair price, and I'm looking forward to that race. It'll be interesting to see how that race cuts up though, potentially closer to the time. Let's quickly do this. We're going to make the toffee sauce. I'll tell you what, you do it. Okay. Ready? I'm going to put the heat on.
Look at this.
Yeah, whack the heat on. Right, whack that.
Yeah.
All in there. Use that wooden spoon there.
I'm taking the butter goes first. That's
and then half of that cream needs to go in as well.
Half. Okay.
Just half.
Look at this, Sam.
Whack that in there.
Yeah, whacked.
Yeah, whack that sugar in there.
I'm leaving you.
You're like a sous chef in here.
Should we think of better words than whacked?
Sorry.
Placed delicately.
Dispensed. Right, let's go on to the big race. On the 27th. This is the Coral Welsh National, a grade 3 handicap over 3 3/4 miles. Secret Reprieve, last year's winners 9-2. The Big Dog 7-1. Highland Hunters 8-1. Hold That Taut is 8-1. I Will Do It 12-1. Daishaba is 14-1. Mighty Thunder, Native River, the Legend, Potter's Corner, and discordantly they're all around sort of 16-1 and 20-1. Bar those. Now, Secret Reprieve, Jack, last year's winner. Just keep stirring that. That will dissolve very slow. I'll tell you what, I'll bang the heat up a bit. Secret Reprieve is last year's winner. Yeah. And running again of a very low weight in here. And this is, I mean, look, we haven't seen this horse since last year's run. I find this really fascinating because we say this all the time. Do we need to complicate this in a big handicap? And do we just go with a favourite who's running off a low weight once again, who's won it again? I'm personally not with this horse, but would you be?
No, I mean, I think obviously the case to be made is so easy. The way he dismissed the Two Amigos and Yalarenki last year, and Yalarenki's gone on to win since the Two Amigos. I think it's a great brave horse as well. I mean, he's £6 high, but you haven't seen him since, and that is worrying. Evan Williams, of course, says he's in great form, but he would do. So for me, it's just not really something I'd want to back after such a long layoff. And unfortunately, I've been dragged back into the Mighty Don. At 50-1, dragged back into the Mighty Don. It's a shame Noel Houlihan is not on board because he ran an absolute cracker on him at Cheltenham, and I keep getting dragged back to that penultimate run when I was watching there, and everything went wrong. Noel Houlihan lost his irons briefly. He couldn't jump, but then suddenly from nowhere he ended up finishing second. So I am going to give him one more chance. He's still off 137. I think he probably should have been dropped a couple of pounds after his last run at Sandown over 3 miles 6 as well. But I'm going to give him another chance. Hopefully he'll be able to kind of suit Chepstow, and hopefully at 50-1 he'll be able to give a good account, because I know he's well handicapped and he just needs to prove it.
God, you've gone back to horse, and so do I. I'm going to go back. This is my big cliff staying horse, and this is Achilles. for Venetia Williams. You know I love
Sam.
backing this horse. It's an absolute plodder, this horse really is. 20 to 1 this horse, I think you can get 25s actually in some places. Look at the run in the Beecher. Now the horse, you know, if you had extended place you would have got a place and I think finished 5th or 6th in that race. But ran a really almighty race in that, and one of those horses where if they do go off a hell of a gallop in this Welsh National, you know he's going to be there somewhere at the finish. I don't know where, it depends how hard they go off, but he's an absolute... he just stays for days. I really do think. I think the Midlands National is going to be the big target for this horse. I actually think this horse could be a horse who could go for something like the Midlands National, but you know, Venetia thinks this horse stayed for days. Since being with Venetia in 2017, this horse hasn't fallen either. I always find that something with regards to these big stand shows. How's that? It's probably not all dissolved yet. Or is that actually right? Is that right?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to hear. Oh, good. I just think that the horse will be staying on at the end. I think the horse jumps very well. Venetia has obviously got 2 in there, but I think her second string, looking at the betting, her second string might be the one to follow here, and I'm excited to see if this horse goes for it. But Achilles for myself and the Mighty Don, 2 big prices, 25 to 1 and 50 to 1 here. Right, that is
Tell you
warming
what,
up. That's actually really nice.
That's really nice.
Well, it says to add a little bit. It says to add the rest of the cream.
All of it.
Well, it says to add the rest of all that. Yeah.
Oh, what after? Okay.
Well, no, add that now.
Okay.
Just add a little bit. That'll do.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'd love to
just
show
that.
everyone what we've.
Go on. Can you
got here.
go? I'll tell you what. I'll go.
You go on.
I'll tell you, there you go. And I'll tell you what, while I do that, you can you read the odds out for the Desert Orchid because they're just at the top there.
Oh, well, so obviously we move on to the Desert Orchid last year where where Nube Negra reigned supreme, which is nice to say. But this year we got 5 runners hopefully declared. We got Shishkin at 5 to 2 on, Grenadine at 2 to 1, Fernambel Savola, never know how to pronounce the name, at 10, Sky Pirate at 14s, and Before Midnight at 20s. Now, it's a race that you perhaps don't need to talk about for too long. I mean, it's clearly between Grenadine and Shishkin. If Shishkin turns up, in my opinion, he wins. It's quite as simple as that. Is he going to go? Do you kind of have a little bit of a welfare issue as to whether he's in good nick or not? Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, being pulled out of so many races, is he going to have enough preparation before Cheltenham as well? That's another big question I'd have. So it'd be interesting to see where he goes. But if he doesn't turn up, clearly Grenadine's the one to beat. But hopefully Shishkin shows up and does the business.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I'll try to show the viewers that. Look at this. I'll tell you what. That is just lovely. That is.
You can't teach
I'll
that.
tell you that is. Jack knows how to make good toffee sauce, everyone.
You can't teach that. You either born with
that's
that.
ready. That can just sit over here. I completely agree with you. Like, look, Shishkin turns up here. He's probably going to go and win this, and the whole of racing wants a horse like this to go and win for sure. Grenadine was very good last time out. Beat a few out of sort horses, that I'll say, but you can only beat what's in front of you. And Grenadine did it well. Do you know one horse I actually really want to see in here was Hitman. Because Hitman's going to go down as one of my horses to follow this season. I actually heard Nichols after the Tingle Creek, so I was down there when Bryony Frost came in. He said the one thing he said was Hitman ran a superb race, and Hitman did run a really good race. And I think he was kind of saying that this horse will be winning very soon. And an improving horse like Hitman, I'll be excited to see where he goes next. But look, Shishkin should go and win this. It's as simple as that. It's not going to be a selection, really, is it? And if I say Shishkin's not running, I'm going to say that Grenadine wins this. But again, it's an obvious thing to say. So it's going to be interesting to see how Shishkin gets on. I'm intrigued to see, where he sits with regards to the 2 mile chases and how good he looks. But everyone hopes that he's going to be the next big thing. And I'd love to see, him versus Ennigamine come March. It'd be so good. It really will. Let's go back over to Ireland now then for the Leopardstown Christmas Festival. Let's go to the 110 there. It's the Paddy's Rewards Chase where we were meant to see Ennigamine. It was entered initially, but this is a grade 1 over 2 mile 1 furlong. Chacun Pour Soi is your 2 to 1 on favourite. Envoilen is 2 to 1, and the other 2 in here are 33 to 1 and bigger. Look, I like backing horses. I don't like backing horses who have had their problems. We've got 2 horses here, Chacun Pour Soi and Envoilen, who are both a bit out of sorts at the moment, and I don't want to back either of them. I just want to sit back and enjoy this race. But in terms of 2 horse races, this is the one that really stands out as a 2 horse race. But do we think that Envoilen dropping in trip could see the best of light with him? We know he was meant to be a superstar, but it just hasn't quite happened since all the hype was about. So where do you sit with regards to this race?
It's a bit of a messy race. Of course, if you asked us about this race a month or 2 ago, before their disappointing runs, you'd say this is a cracker. But Shakan, of course, I've never been able to warm to Shakan at all. Doesn't get up the hill and very uncharacteristically clattered into the railway fences at Sandown last time out. I don't really know if anything came to light afterwards. I don't think anything did. It was just a very uncharacteristic, poor performance. So it'd be interesting to see how he returns. But I mean, he should be winning this really. Envoy Allen clearly isn't the horse he was.
No.
A lot of people make excuses for him, but he just clearly has lost that spark, which he did once have. When you're going into open company, it happens. And I think it has happened this year. So Shakan Poursoir should take all the beating. Envoy Allen, interesting that they were stepping him back into it. I think it's probably the right decision, but I just don't think he's speedy enough. And I don't know if his jumping's going to stand the test.
Yeah, so it's a race I'm going to be leaving alone. I mean, I wouldn't even, if I was a punter, be wanting to put Shakan Poursoir in a muggy acca at all. Because
and you do love a muggy acca.
Sometimes I do love a muggy acca. And Christmas actually has a good record around this time for favourites coming in. I mean, last year everything seemed to come in. Well, they're rising lovely in there.
Looking good. They're looking good.
Right, let's go on to the other race that we'll cover on the 27th from Ireland. This is the 145, the Future Champions Novices Hurdle. This is a grade 1 over 2 miles. This is a race that I'm actually looking forward to in regards to the future. Largy debut is 5-2. Mighty Potter is around 3-1. Grangy is around 4-1. Sir Garhard won't be going here, but he's in there at 6s. 3 stripe live 6s and double figures bar these. Now, for my anti-post slips, I do hope the Mighty Potter goes and wins this. And I think we could probably both agree that from the last run in the Royal Bond, that if they had gone harder and there were more runners and the race was run more like a Supreme, Mighty Potter would have probably won it. Needing a firmer pace. A lot of people calling out this horse needs to go over the 2 mile 4 distance. I personally think this horse is a 2 miler, but needs a strong 2 miles rather than a soft 2 miles. What's your opinions on this?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I completely agree. I think he needs a strong 2 miles. Be interesting to see. I think this race will be able to decide whether he goes 2 mile 4. I know he has an entry in the Lawless of Naas, but I doubt he's going to go there so quickly after. But I mean, I thought, considering he went 4 wide, he was a little bit keen. He didn't jump that great. He did stay on very nicely from the last to the line. I mean, he kind of ambled up to the last and kind of shot away. So I completely agree. I think the Supreme could suit him down to a T. I think they got the price of the Supreme and Ballymore wrong. I know he's 14 to 1 for the Ballymore and 25 to 1 for the Supreme. Probably I'd have it the other way round because I think Gordon Elliott could have a strong hand here with Mighty Potter. Of course, Jack Kennedy's on board as well. So he's clearly chosen, hopefully, the right choice. I think 3 Stripe Life's a great contender as well for this. So it's interesting. I do think this is one of the races of the weekend. I think there's some cracking novice hurdlers. Yeah. I think 3 Stripe Life and Mighty Potter are both the two to beat in my opinion, and hopefully I think Mighty Potter can vindicate what we think.
Yeah, no, I mean, larger debut, look, beat Kilcrut, probably the shock of the season so far. Kilcrut being 12 to 1 on that day, and larger debut making easy work of that. But I do think the Mighty Potter is going to be the one to be with here. I'm hoping that they do go off a strong pace, and a time of the year where a lot of people tend to watch the Harry Potter trilogy, I think the Mighty Potter will be a nice festive winner for everyone. So I'm going to be a Mighty Potter around 3 to 1. I think is a cracking bet. Is that a fair reference?
I don't know. I'm a bit sad that you called it a trilogy.
Oh, well,
it's not 3 films.
Well, sorry.
That's Paul.
That's for you.
I
do apologise. Right, I'll tell you what. We both got each other presents for Christmas. We said that we put something in. I'll tell you what. You go first, and I'll give you yours because yours will involve you going behind the camera and doing something for me.
I went with something nice. I was thinking I'm going to get you Gary Moore or something like that, and I thought about a framed photo of Goshen falling in the Triumph. I was like, that's a bit harsh.
It's a lovely touch. This.
So instead, obviously, no advertisement here. This is just there. You go.
The Racing Post calendar.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Look at that.
Who's out on the front?
That's Rachel Blackmore there.
Yeah. Who's winning? You should.
That's no. That is.
Come on, Sam. Think about it.
Allaho.
Yeah, it's Allaho winning the right now.
Also, because I'm pretty sure that there, if I'm not wrong, is Fakir Duderie who's going to be winning it this year. How I didn't get that, I don't know. Lovely gift. Right, well, I'll tell you what, let me give you yours. So I know you've been jealous of me all season. Like, since early, I think it was about February last year, this year, you've been very jealous. So I just want you to have this. Yeah, just give it an open and show our viewers what you've got here.
I don't know, I hope it doesn't burn. Or do I hope it does burn? I'm going to get this
up. You don't want it to burn. You don't want that to burn. I'll just give a check to put it while you open this up.
It is a
looking good.
t-shirt.
Yeah, just have a look at that. Look, I love him. Yeah, now turn it round.
Yes!
Can the camera see it? I feel like you should go take the jumper off on the camera and change into that for
I
the rest
will.
of this
Dan
video.
Skelton.
While I carry on. Can the
God.
camera see that? Have they got that? Have they got
That
that?
is sensational.
Oh, well, I'll put it on and I'll just carry on running the show. So we've got our toffee sauce. Tell you what, that's probably going to need reheating closer to the time. We've only got a couple of races left to preview here. And they're all coming from Leopardstown. We will kick things off moving on to the 28 from Leopardstown. This is the 145, a grade 1 over 3 miles, and this is the Christmas hurdle over there. This is a staying hurdle. Classical Dream is your 5-2 favourite. Flooring Porter is 11-4. Cider Burley 6-1. Abacadabra is 8-1. Ronald Pump is 8-1 and 20-1 bar those. Now, Jack, is it fair to say with regards to... Oh, that is...
How do we look?
That, I tell you what, he loves him. He literally loves Dan Skelton.
I love it.
See, I knew you were jealous of my Goshen t-shirt.
I was.
And
look at this
you've now got your own personalised t-shirt.
I can't wait to go to Cheltenham when Nuve Negra
Just
wins
wear
the
it under your
champion
shirt
chase.
and undo the shirt, rip the buttons, and then bang, you're wearing that.
When Nuve Negra wins the champion
Oh,
chase, and
God.
Harry's coming back down the chute, and Dan's it. Come on. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Merry
well,
Christmas.
no, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, with regards to the Christmas hurdle then, Jack, Classical Dream, it's fair to say this horse has had his issues. Do you think he's been a bit of an unlucky horse, or do you think he's one of those horses where you can't back him at this moment? You need to see what happens, what happens during this Christmas hurdle, because for me, Flooring Porter looks the bet.
I think you do have to watch Classical Dream. Of course, you don't know what he's going to bring out, do you? You never know. Just a horse with that many problems. Of course, he was absolutely flawless at Punchestown. If he does anything similar to that, he's clearly going to win and win well. But Flooring Porter as well, he has his quirks, doesn't he? I mean, he won the Stayers, although he jinks right, and he doesn't do this, and he doesn't jump very well. So again, I think there's question marks to both of them. And there's one trainer who I think is being seriously forgotten about in the Stayers hurdle market, and he's definitely he signified in his stable tour early doors that the Stayers division is one that he's going to target, and that's Gordon Elliott. I mean, you look at the likes of Cider Burley, Abacadabra, and also Grand Noir, 3 that he's targeted already at the Stayers. I think he knows it's a weak division and it's there for the taking. And I think out of the 3, I'm going to be with the outside of the lot, Grand Noir.
Oh, okay.
The 5-year-old. I think he's just got so much improvement in him. To me, he's always shaped like he wants 3 miles. And Gordon Elliott said I know I don't like listening to trainers all the time, except obviously Dan. But he has shaped like he wants 3 miles to me. I think he ran a decent enough race last time out in the Liz Mullen in November, and hopefully, I think if he does improve, I think 25-1 is way too large a price. So hopefully he'll be able to vindicate what Gordon thinks and what I think, and hopefully 3 miles is his trip.
Okay, yeah, Graham R for yourself, a nice big prize. Like I mentioned earlier, I do like Flooring Porter over Classical Dream here. I love this horse because this horse goes out in front, and the jockey just every time this horse has been ridden, the jockey seems to get the fractionals really right. And last time he fell at Navan, he was challenging and was very free to post that day. I watched the replay back of the full run, and it looked like the horse was very keen all the way, to the start and even during the race. And I think that potentially with regards to the Stayers hurdle, we know this horse won it last year. I think this horse still has to be considered around 8-1 for that, market amount. It is a very weak division. We know that. It's a very interesting one. And Champ looks like now the one to beat, but it's whether Champ actually goes for it. We don't even know that yet. So I would be with Flooring Porter. I think this horse jumps well, and I think from the front can get horses off the bridle one by one. And he's a horse that you just don't want to get into a battle with either. I think he'll just keep going. When he sees another horse, he just pushes all the way to the line. So Grandma for Jack at a big price, and Flooring Porter is actually going to be one of my better bets of the Christmas period. I'm going to get this sauce just reheated again because we're almost ready to serve it. Right, let's go on to the big one over in Ireland. This is the 220. It's the Savills Chase, a grade 1 over 2 miles. Aplutard is 8-11. Galvin is 11-2. Delta Work, Janadil and Kenboy, they're 10-1. Steering Flange won't be going here, that's 14s. Melon 16s and 33-1 bar those. I mean, can we just be boring here and just say that if Aplutard turns up, he's going to win this? Because the Betfair Chase win was sensational. You'd expect the horse to come on for that run as well. And in my opinion, isn't really taking on too much here in terms of ability. What's your opinion on this race?
I'd say he isn't taking. He's taking on a lot of old timers.
Yes.
people who are coming back, of course, Mellon, you've got Willie Mullins saying they may send him back over hurdles after his run this Christmas. But I think Galvin's just got the world at his feet. He really does. I mean, he's kind of 5-1, 6-1 at the moment. I think it's an each way bet to nothing. There's nothing really in the market behind him that I think is going to be able to put a challenge down to Applutard. But if Applutard doesn't give a good account, I think Calvin's going to be there to pick up the pieces. I mean, he's a battler. No matter what race he's in, he really does battle. I mean, against Foden, he battled. In last year at Cheltenham, he also battled as well. So I do think 3 miles is kind of his trip, and hopefully he'll be able to kind of vindicate himself as a Gold Cup performer. But will he get the better of Applutard? Maybe not. But will he be a couple of lengths back in second? Hopefully.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right there in terms of the horse to finish behind Applutard. Galvin's the most likely, but it's second in the betting. Like I say, it's a no-bet race for myself, but I'd love to see Applutard go and win this. And you said this horse is a great Gold Cup contender as well. I can completely agree with you. He's still improving, and I think he's a very, very smart horse. Right, we're almost at the end now. We're pretty much almost ready to serve. We'll go on to the 29th. The only race we're going to be covering here will be the Matterson Hurdle. This is the 220 there on the 29th at Leopardstown. Grade 1, over 2 miles. Sharjah 11-10. Zanahiyr 4-1. Echoes in Rain 8-1. Abacadabra is probably not going to go, but it's 10s. Teachapoo is 10-1. Qualixios 12s and 16-1. Bar those. Now, while I get the puddings out, Sharjah, a horse who I love Christmas time, but this horse seems to love Christmas more than anyone, winning this race 3 times already and looking to emulate, I think, Istabrack and Hurricane Fly. I'll tell you what, I've always wanted to say this. Here's some we made earlier. So we've got those there, but I'll get some custard. But look, another race, Jack, where Sharjah, I love seeing Patrick Mullins cruising around the bend on this horse here, and winning. And that Leopardstown Christmas angle is that camera angle is probably a gift in itself at Christmas time. I love it when they swing around that bend at Leopardstown. I just think that potentially Sharjah, turns up here again and probably wins, but it's now, for the first time, in my opinion, not at a backable price. In previous years, there's been a fair price in this race, but this year here, sitting around sort of 11 to 10 even money, it's not for me, but I do think that he's going to for sure be the one to beat. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, clearly he looked better than ever last time out in the Morgiana. I thought, albeit a 3-runner affair, I think he looked better than ever. He clearly is the one to beat. Again, at that price, am I going to be backing him? No, I'm not. So I think it's just a mess. There's not really anyone I'm going to be backing. I hope Echoes in Rain can have some kind of revival mission, but I mean, she still looked so keen last time out in the Morgiana, and that's going to kill her. It really will, because she has so much ability quite clearly, but it's going to limit her and where she can actually go. But I hope she can bounce back. It's Sharjah's race to lose, and I won't be having a bet.
Okay, yeah, I'm probably not going to be having a bet in this race either. I'd love Sharjah to go and win this. I'll tell you what, let's just pour some of that on there, like that. We want custard, because I've got some custard.
No, whoa.
Wait. Let's get a nice camera angle on that. Look at that. That is just lovely. And then we whack that over here. I'm going to put some custard because I love custard. And that's going to be it for our Christmas preview. I'll tell you what, grab a spoon, because if you don't want any custard, you can tuck into that. It's Christmas time, so we're going to get some lovely, because I'm going to be cracking into this. It's Christmas Eve.
Look at that.
I'm going to be tucking into this. We'll have a sip of that. But yeah, no, first of all, I just want to say thanks to all of our viewers over the past. I think Jack and I have been going about 11 months at this now. I think it's been great. I hope you guys have all enjoyed the videos. We've personally enjoyed doing them ourselves. We love bringing stuff to you guys and bringing something new. From next year, Jack and I are going to be working. Oh, that custard is not good at all.
Solid as a rock.
That is solid as a rock, but it will do. Jack and I are going to be working closely with, for the start of the year, we're going to be working closely with Racing Ahead. We're looking forward to that. You can go check them out on their website. I'll put a link to their website in the description. You'll find all of the next gen stuff on there as well. Is it good? And look, we're looking forward to, some excellent videos. Oh my God, that looks so good.
Tell you what, you do the chefing and I'll just try and pick a winner. For the future.
We're looking forward to Christmas action. We're looking forward to bringing you some new and exciting videos next year. I'm sure Jack and I will be back in the studio at some point, sort of middle of the year, bringing some videos. Then obviously we've got the flat season, which is 3 months away. I'm sorry to mention it, but we have.
Don't be sorry about that.
But yeah, we are looking forward to the rest of the year, and we just want to thank everyone who's supported us. We're going to be back on New Year's Eve to bring you a New Year's Day video. We'll cover Cheltenham, which we're looking forward to. But hope you all have a good Christmas. Hope everyone stays safe. Cheers, Jack.
Cheers. Merry Christmas.
And we'll see you on New Year's Day.